make a narrative as if like I'm scared of. I think Devin's a tremendous fighter. Do I think Devin Haney can beat me? Hell no. Hell no.
Yeah.
For me personally, I'm on a different level than everybody.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to boxing, because Devin, he's a boxer.
So it's on him. You know what I mean? It's on him. He knows that he's going to get this fade sooner or later. So it's only a matter of time. Obviously, we can't go down. You know, we can't go down to 135. So you know, he would have to come up, and you know, he can get this work anytime he ready.
I see greatness, man. I see greatness. Shakur practically beat him with one hand, man. That jab, man. Most important hand you have, man. You know? And he looked good doing it, sharp. You know what I mean? Distance. He did everything, man.
Shakur Stevenson is positioning himself for a collision with Devin Haney at 140 pounds, and there's no hesitation in his approach. He's willing to accept rehydration limits, willing to walk into controlled conditions, because at a core level, he believes skill is the ultimate equalizer. This matters to fans because it signals confidence without excuses. A fighter saying his craft travels regardless of weight, rules, or environment. At a psychological level, this is about asserting dominance before the first bell ever rings.
All of these guys, if y'all want me to come to 147, I'm coming in with rehydration clauses. I don't even do that. But why am I going up to these guys' weight classes if I'm not planning?
Devin Haney has made it clear that this matchup isn't theoretical or promotional noise. It's something he genuinely wants. His tone reflects intent, not posturing. At a human level, fans respond to this because they recognize commitment when they hear it. Haney isn't circling the fight. He's leaning into it, framing this as a necessary step rather than a risky option.
Still at 135. You can't, you know, say your name without saying Shakur to your female tank, right? It just is what it is. Is that fight going to ever happen? Would it ever happen against you and Shakur?
100%, yeah. I think so. I think
you think Shakur will grow into whatever weight you're in?
I mean, all of us is close to the same size. You know, we're all growing together. We're all like, you know, getting bigger. And it's only so many guys, like y'all said. It's only so many guys that we could make big money and people want to see the fights, which even though I know that they making new guys, it's guys like Kermel, Abdullah, all these guys want to come up too. So eventually they gonna be there too. But, I think that a fight with Shakur is very much possible. We try to make
Shakur Stevenson dismisses any narrative that paints him as hesitant or fearful. He's direct. There's no concern about Devin Haney himself, only about how teams and camps manipulate perception. This matters to fans because boxing history is filled with fights delayed by storytelling rather than reality. Psychologically, Shakur is cutting off escape routes for excuses before they're even built.
Devin Haney.
Okay.
Devin Haney's probably, to me, I don't think it's hit its point yet. But I think in the next year or two, it'll hit a point where it's like the world is going to demand. You know what I'm saying? I can see the trajectory feels like it could meet like that.
I would love this fight. But look, you got to watch what you say with like, and this is not even Devin fault because Devin is very respectful of my game and I'm respectful of his game. He's a good fighter. But his fans will clip and twist and turn things into something that is not. So I try to be real careful on what I say.
True. This is guy Jay on Twitter. He a big Haney fan. He be always clipping and changing stuff, Jay.
Yeah, they gonna make a narrative as if like I'm scared of. I think Devin's a tremendous fighter. Do I think Devin Haney can beat me? Hell.
From Shakur's perspective, the gap between himself and the rest of the field isn't narrow. It's wide. He doesn't see a fighter who can outthink him, outmaneuver him, or stop him. At the same time, he views Haney as dangerous, but not destructive enough to change the fight with a single punch. This framing isn't arrogance. It's the mindset of an elite technician who trusts structure over chaos.
He's a fucking stone cold killer who's just gonna go in there and try to knock me the fuck out.
Yeah.
He's gonna try to outbox me. I'm the greatest boxer. How do you... So that's how I feel about the fight.
Yeah.
But it all got to make sense from a business standpoint. I don't like getting up here and negotiating
Nah,
against
for sure.
myself and
For sure.
but for me, I'm willing
But
to
do you
make the
see
fight
it as
happen.
it being that could, like we always said, the Four Kings, even though you wasn't a part of it, the whole thing, the whole plot is like at the end of the road, there's gonna be two guys left standing, and that's the big fight. Do you see that as that's potentially what that could be?
I'm a bad motherfucker.
For Devin Haney, chasing greatness means chasing the hardest names available. He isn't interested in padded resumes or convenient defenses. Facing someone like Shakur Stevenson represents proof, not promotion. Fans connect to this because it speaks to earned status versus protected status. A fighter demanding validation through confrontation, not conversation.
Those fights are not possible. Would you be more inclined just to move up to 140?
Yeah, if I can't get those fights next, or it doesn't make sense for it to be next, I'll probably go to 140, test it out, see how I feel at the weight at 140, and then when the time is right, then I'll defend my belt at 135. We'll just see though. I got to go back and talk with the team and see what makes the most sense. That's really.
Bill Haney has drawn a firm line in the sand. They're not dropping weight and waiting around. The message is simple. If someone wants what Devin has, they need to step into his world at 140. This reflects the business side of boxing where leverage matters, and champions dictate terms through position, not politeness.
He didn't become undisputed, yet they didn't mention the franchise belt, which directly impacted Devin's career early on, right? And it seemed like, I was saying this on my live earlier, you tell me what you think about this, but it seems to me like there's a lot of people that have tried to block y'all ambition, right? Between you signed to the wrong company, Loma not taking the Devin fight, Tio not taking the Devin fight, Rolly saying he just don't want to fight Devin. Do you see that? Like, how do you see that? As far as like people know you're ambitious, they know you want to be unified, they know you want to be undisputed. So they put all these obstacles up and they make it hard for you to achieve what you're trying to achieve.
Absolutely. I think it's been historic in a way.
He reinforces that the door isn't closed. It's wide open. The fight can happen whenever the challenger is prepared to walk through it. At a psychological level, this shifts pressure outward, placing responsibility on the opponent rather than the champion.
So we must keep our composure and our patience and understand that it's part of the process when you're that good. You know what I mean? We can't say it any other way. They're running out of narratives. You know what I'm saying? And, it's what the people want to see. We don't never say, okay, well, this guy has done something wrong or he did bad business. So, we'll never do it. Obviously, when we go through negotiations and we spend time in there, whether it's put something together for Richard Hitchinson, for him to come back later and to say, I want that fight. Well, when we were trying to make the fight, we couldn't. You didn't want to negotiate. You went somewhere else. When we were negotiating with Shakur Stevenson, instead of him negotiating with us, he said that he's.
Tim Bradley steps back from the immediate matchup and looks at the historical lens. He believes Shakur Stevenson has the raw ability to eclipse even Terrence Crawford's place in boxing lore. Crawford's resume is untouchable, a multi-division champion who carved his legacy without shortcuts. But Bradley points out that timing and politics limited certain opportunities. Shakur, by contrast, is emerging in an era where barriers between promoters are breaking down, potentially allowing him to build an even broader legacy if he capitalizes.
I feel like Shakur, just like Crawford was with me, Shakur has the ability to pass Terrence Crawford. Listen up. Now, not in the stance of becoming 3-time undisputed and going up to, that many weight classes. Not from that standpoint. He already has 4 weight classes. Crawford is a 5-weight division champion. But in a sense of having the opportunities that Crawford didn't have. Crawford would have been even bigger than what he is if the politics didn't play into the sport at the time. And now that, you have guys like Turkey Al-Sheikh that are able to bridge that gap between promoters and, make these big fights.
Building on that idea, Shakur is stepping into a landscape rich with accessible talent across multiple divisions. Unlike past eras, the path to elite competition is clearer. Names like Haney, Roach, Foster, Russell, Smith, and Garcia represent real tests, not theoretical threats. This matters to fans because legacy is shaped by who you fight, not who you avoid. Bradley's belief is that Shakur doesn't just belong in this field, he has the tools to dominate it.
Around when Crawford was on his climb. You know, when Crawford couldn't get those big fights with like Thurman and Danny Garcia and Ugas and, you know, he got it later with Sean Porter, but it was later. But imagine if Crawford was able to have that run and, you know, Earl Spence, Danny Garcia, Ugas, Keith Thurman, you know, the list goes on. If he would have had all those guys on his ledger, imagine how big Crawford would be. He would be even bigger than what he is today, you know, bigger than what he is today. So with that being said, you know, with these fighters hovering around 135, these talented fighters, hovering around 135, 130, you know, guys like, you know, Oshaki Foster, like I mentioned, going to go up to 135. He's big enough to go to 130.
There's a quiet truth when watching fighters like Haney and Stevenson. Under fair conditions, losing isn't something that happens easily to them. Their exchanges outside the ring reflect mutual awareness, respect mixed with rivalry. Fans once labeled this generation as a modern version of the Four Kings, drawing comparisons to boxing's golden era. Those comparisons raise expectations and amplify scrutiny, turning every statement into a strategic move.
Haney going to concede to that? I doubt it. So there's a major obstacle in the way. But nonetheless, as you watch these two fighters fight, you can clearly see outside of cheating, they're more than likely not going to lose. Right? With that said, Devin Haney immediately responds to Shakur. Shakur responds to Devin. Right? Again, we had the initial Four Kings. It was Devin, Ryan, T.O., and Tank Davis. Right? It was supposed to be the Four Kings 2.0. From the Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearn, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto.
History reminds us that not every great fighter gets equal recognition. Wilfred Benitez defeated legends, yet often gets left out of the conversation. In a similar way, Shakur Stevenson has spent years in the shadows of louder names, but performances change narratives. His dominance over Teofimo Lopez forced attention, while external issues surrounding others have shifted the spotlight. Boxing landscapes evolve quickly, and timing can elevate or erase reputations.
We had that Four King era, but nobody mentions Wilfred Benitez. And the fact remains is Wilfred Benitez beat Roberto Duran as well. And Roberto Duran is 1-4 against those guys. He beat Sugar Ray Leonard the first time. Outside of that, Roberto Duran, he lost to he quit against Sugar Ray Leonard. He got knocked out brutally by Tommy Hearns. He got outboxed by Marvin Hagler and outclassed by Wilfred Benitez. Right? But he's overshadowing Wilfred Benitez. And I felt like these guys, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Tank, and Tio, overshadowed Shakur Stevenson. And now Shakur Stevenson has shined the light by dominating Teofimo.
Bernie the Boxer looks at this matchup through accomplishments rather than hype. Shakur's resume speaks loudly. Titles across multiple divisions, lineal championships, Ring Magazine recognition, and unified success at 130. Victories over high-pressure fighters like Teofimo Lopez demonstrate that Shakur doesn't shrink under bright lights. He sharpens.
To the fight, Conor Ben comes into the ring. They talk, have some words, but Shakur Stevenson said, I want to put that same rehydration clause you put on Chris Eubank. Tell me, what did you get out of that moment in the ring?
Well, I heard on the press conference where I think it was his manager said that, that was a clown move, but I think Shakur invited that, I don't even know if I would have said all that about Conor being right then, but I think he really wants that fight. He really wants the money for the fight. He's been saying that. And now he came through victorious. You know, I think he really wants that money for that fight.
He contrasts that with Devin Haney's own achievements. Champion across 3 divisions and once undisputed, Bernie's stance is clear. If Shakur wants full credit, the fight should happen now, not later. Beating Haney in his prime removes doubt from the equation. At a legacy level, this is about timing, courage, and closing arguments that history can't challenge.
Fights, accomplishments, because now Shakur is a 4-weight world champion. Devin is a 3-weight world champion. Devin was undisputed, but now Shakur is a 2-time lineal champion. You know, so he's a 2-time Ring Magazine winner. You know, 2-time unified champion. If you want to add the ring, as far as with the WBO, he was unified at 130. You know, so he's a 2-time unified champion, 2-time lineal champion. Beat a guy like Teofimo Lopez, who rises to the occasion. Had a close fight with George Kambosos. You can make a claim that he was fighting out of frustration or out of emotion, you know, and that was it. He was in his prime too, you know. Josh Taylor seemed to be drained at 140, not taken away from Devin, but he was already moving up to 47, they were saying. You know, Lomachenko was a little older.
Shakur's performance against Teofimo Lopez was a technical clinic. Even compromised physically, he controlled space with his jab. The most fundamental and unforgiving weapon in boxing. Every adjustment was deliberate. Critics who questioned his level of opposition were forced to reassess. Lopez didn't look ordinary because he regressed. He looked ordinary because Shakur imposed order on chaos.
I see greatness, man. I see greatness. Shakur practically beat him with one hand, man. That jab, man. Most important hand you have, man. You know? And he looked good doing it, sharp. You know what I mean? Distance. He did everything, man. He did everything right, man.
A lot of people thought it would be a tough fight because Teo's athletic, Teo's experienced, he's fought on a high level. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they were critical of Shakur. Oh, he ain't fought nobody, this and that. Yeah. He made Teo look like everybody else.
Made him look like an amateur. Man, he looked like an amateur. Yes.
Now, technically, what did you see? Right? Where did Teo go wrong in that fight?
Where he went wrong?
Yeah.
Fighting Shakur. That's where he went wrong. Fighting Shakur. I knew he just running his mouth. He just was talking, man. I knew that from the beginning, even at the time.
Despite dealing with an injured left hand, Shakur never lost command of the fight. He managed output, dictated rhythm, and stayed disciplined. Observers noted that a stoppage was available if he wanted it, but control mattered more than spectacle. Fans witnessed a reminder that greatness isn't about perfect circumstances. It's about decision-making under pressure.
Yeah, Shakur knows he could have got stoppage too, but Shakur hurt his left hand. Yeah. His left hand was hurt. If you notice, he was using that jab a lot.
Yeah, jab and then
you know what I mean? And he threw the left hand every now and then. Because I was screaming out. Everybody said they heard me in Philly.
Yo, we can hear you on the TV. Yo.
Yeah. That's my young buck. You know what I mean? And I was telling him, throw that straight left hand. Then I noticed when he did throw it, he wasn't throwing it real hard. You know what I mean? Mm. You know what I mean? But he looked spectacular, man. You know what I mean? He can't ask for nothing more, man. And with me, I don't care about what people say, man. They always want to talk about you and say, oh, he should have did this, should have did that. He did everything that he was supposed to do.
Potential clash between Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney has captured the sport's imagination because it's a true meeting of minds and mechanics. Precision versus adaptability, structure versus fluidity. Every exchange would carry meaning, and every round could tilt perception. This is the kind of fight that doesn't just crown a winner, it reshapes careers and defines eras.
That even remotely sparks my interest for Shakur Stevenson is this guy right here, Devin Haney. Look at them. They're the same size. Obviously, Devin's moved up to 147. Shakur demands a catch weight. We'll see if Devin goes for the bait because I think Shakur Stevenson, there's no doubt about it. He has the skills to compete at 147 to be 5-weight division champion. I feel like that would be.
That's where today's discussion comes to a close. In boxing, the loudest statements aren't always spoken. They're delivered between the ropes over time against resistance. The rest is just waiting for the moment when truth has nowhere left to hide.